Hey everyone, welcome back to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below. Yes, this is on episode 11, the final episode of Rewrite Season 2, the final episode of the Terra Route, to which, honestly, I think it was a really good ending. I thought it was a really good conclusion to a season that, like, honestly, when I first went to go and watch this, I honestly did not think it was going to be as good as it actually is. Considering, of course, like I keep repeating myself, how bad Season 1 was. Now, it's just awesome to see, like, even though the last episode was rushed a little, people were saying that, like, it would take, like, maybe, like, 16 or 17 episodes if it was actually, if, you know, Terra Route was actually fully, you know, adapted and everything with everything in it. And it makes me, it just makes it sad because I really do wish they could have just, you know, first season 24 episodes, second season 24 episodes, or, you know, 17, whatever, how much episode, since the Moon and Terra Route isn't as long as, you know, the first season would be. But still, I really wish that animes like this would get, like, you know, how much, like, a lot more episodes, like how much they really need to be adapted. Because when it comes to the point of, like, I still enjoyed this season a lot. Most of everything, like, from what I've seen from people saying in the forums, from people saying in my comments and everything, that it was adapted really well. You pretty much got the main gist of everything in each of the episodes. Sure, the last episode was a little bit, you know, there's stuff taken out, main things as well, which, like, is a first comparing all the other episodes. At least, you know, they were pretty much, the ratio was like 1-to-1 with the visual novel, while the other one, like, filled in a whole shitload of stuff into one episode, which, like I said before, it would, if there was 12 episodes at least, I think it would have been a lot better. But I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the whole season. This episode was a fitting and really nice conclusion. Like, at first, the first half of this episode, I was like when it came to the point where he, you know, was running, you know, he was trying to get to Kagadi, he wanted to see her one more time, and he was crying and everything, and, you know, he had to do so much. He had to kill so many people. He had to betray the trust of so many people. He had to leave so many people. He had to pretty much sacrifice. He was willing to sacrifice himself, because the one thing he didn't want to do was have to kill her. And in the end, he actually has to do that. It's like he was saying, it's a curse and everything. Like, I really understand how he was feeling, man. That part was emotional. The one part for me that wasn't really was the whole, when he saw Equal on the ground. I didn't really get that part too much. Like, I don't know if in the visual novel it shows her a lot more. Like, I still get that he cared for her a little bit as well, but he was like he was screaming at the top of his lungs, and he was tearing up at that part. Like, I would be tearing up, but he was crying, kind of thing. I didn't really understand it as much. It felt like there wasn't as much build up of that relationship to make it as meaningful as it was shown in this episode. But it was still, like, you know, a lot of that kind of shit, you know, like all that stuff that he had to do, betraying so many people, killing his mentor and everything to save the earth, to, you know, get to Kagadi. And in the end, the one person he didn't want to kill, the one person he didn't want to hurt was Kagadi, and he ends up having to do that. Dude, I was so full on, like, holy crap. Is this the ending? Is it not going to be like a nice, happy ending? I mean, it's a bittersweet ending. Is that what it's going to be like? Of course, the real ending with him and that kiss, to which I saw in the forums that a lot of people were saying that is actually not in the visual novel, which is pretty interesting. And I thought it was really nice. And a lot of people I saw in the forums were also thinking the same thing, which is good. Like, in the forums, when I looked, there was still, you know, there were still some people that are like, oh, this was bad. This was, oh, what the hell's wrong with that? You know, there's always going to be people like that for no matter what adaptation there is. There's always going to be haters, even if it's like a really good adaptation, you know? But overall, I actually, majority of the people in the forums actually really enjoyed the episode, really liked the ending. And I think that's, like, honestly, like I keep saying in every single episode, it feels so good as an anime watcher only to watch something that the source material readers, you know, they enjoyed it as well, because it's being adapted from what, you know, the source material and everything. So when you see those people liking it, it makes you feel as an anime watcher only even better, because you're like, I liked it. But then when you see someone that hates it, it's like, oh, so it was bad because of those and those, and then you start to think and everything like, oh, I guess that wasn't as good then. But when of course you do see moments like this where people are like, yeah, it was really good, they did really good here, they good here, the ending was awesome. It like there was no kiss in the ending of the visual novel, so it's like I liked it even better like this. And it's those moments that make you just like, for an anime watcher only, it's like, yeah, I definitely did enjoy it. It's cool that they enjoyed it as well. You know, like this is like how it should be, kind of thing. You know, maybe not completely 100%. You know, it could have been better adapted. I know a lot of people still think that, you know, it could have been adapted better if it was by another studio or something like that. The CG, of course, was still kind of not really good in this as well. I kind of just look at the CG and just push it aside now. It's not really like a key thing for me anymore. It's like I already know it's going to be like that, you know. So sure, it's bad, but what can you do about it sometimes? At least for me, at least, I still enjoyed the story. I still enjoyed this whole ride that the Moon and Terra Root had, you know, embarked us on. The first half of this episode was really nice, like I said before. Not really nice, but really hard for me to watch Kotaro go through all of this. We got to see him talk to Toka and Adata, pretty much telling them, you know, at first they were full on like, what are you doing? What's your plan? Why are you doing this? Why are you betraying us? And then now helping us, kind of thing. And then, of course, you know, pretty much telling them he's gonna, pretty much saying that he's gonna sacrifice himself. He's not gonna be there. The future is for them now. It's pretty much like passing the baton over to Toka's students, to which of course they are, of course, the 5 main girls of Rewrite and everything. And that was another thing that was cool, is that we got to see them all together later on as well. And then this is where I get kind of like, I didn't really understand certain parts of this episode, maybe because it was rushed, or maybe it's not really explained in the visual novel or something. But some of the things were, for one thing, after the Earth Dragon, which was pretty damn cool. And one thing I always love about Rewrite, before I get on to talk about what I didn't really understand, is the soundtrack, the music. That's one thing that, like, and you guys always say, yeah, the music is really good. There are some people that in the what's it called, forums, that were saying that you know, sure, they didn't care for it as much, but the music was still awesome, because that is the original music from, you know, Rewrite and everything. And honestly, music is such an important thing for anything, anime, game, anything. It really brings on a different like feeling when you're watching this certain thing or playing this certain thing. And like the fight part, showing that, I forget what the song was called, the one that we saw at the end of Moon, at the Moon Route, was pretty damn awesome. We got to see numerous other songs come in here as well that I absolutely loved. It really gave us like a different feeling for that certain scene and everything. And I swear, like, I don't know what it is with like a lot of the key, you know, visual novels by Key, like, I actually really do love the soundtracks, and Rewrite is no different. I really enjoyed the soundtrack for this one as well. That's one thing at least they were able to bring in that's awesome, at least, that, you know, was fully adapted, I guess you can say, in a way. But yeah, after, what I did understand was the whole part when he goes up to and sees Sakura, you know, Kashima, over there, she doesn't really do anything. Is it because it's already failed, kind of thing, so there's nothing there, or she thinks she's succeeded? There's no real interaction between the two of them. She just sits there. Is she actually dead, maybe, and I don't really notice? I didn't really get that part at all, actually. And then the other part after that is when, which I thought was pretty cool, is when all the girls summon a familiar from the tree, to which of course that tree is Kotaro. He appears. How come when he died, did everyone's memories of him just disappear? We had a really interesting part with Yasmin talking about, she kind of remembers like who he was, what he, you know, he was a young man and everything, what he did, but she doesn't remember his name, I'm guessing. I don't think anyone remembers him, because even the point when they're going to the moon and they're walking on like that, you know, bridge thing, kind of, then they turn back to like their young selves, kind of thing, or like back when, you know, Kotaro was with them. Is that what they see as well, or is that not really? It's just kind of like for us, because wouldn't, you know, Kotori remember Kotaro? She's been with him when he was younger. She saw him a lot then, so wouldn't she remember? Even Akane a little bit, you know? I didn't really understand that part too much. Like, is it just like their memories have been completely erased? They remember the actions of someone that saved them and all this kind of stuff, but they don't really remember who he is? I guess that's how it is. I'm not too sure. That's why like I said, I am kind of confused on that point, and why I kind of I'm asking you guys on that. But then everything else, like, I absolutely loved. I'm guessing that, yeah, they were able to save the world, but the world is not going to be able to do a re-evolution like normal. So, which the only way possible, like, Kagadi said and everything, and what Kotaro talked about before, is going to a new planet. They talked about, of course, like using the, your mother's as like a footstep forward, and that's when the home planet and everything, going to to a different solar system is what Kotaro said, if he has tens of thousands of contractors. But of course, the main thing with his final promise that he wanted to get, of course, was obviously to see her once again someday, and that is, of course, Moon Kagadi, the Moon Key, to which, of course, they end up going there. We end up getting a beautiful kiss that you guys said wasn't, I saw a bunch of people saying that that's not individual novel, but I definitely enjoyed it. It just made it, like I said, the first half, it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a bittersweet ending, isn't it? He's able to save the planet, but he's gone. Kagadi's gone. He betrayed and killed so many people and all that kind of stuff. And in the end, sure, he saves the planet, but, he doesn't get what he really wants. That's his love story. It's like, what is it called? Like, it's just a sad love story. I don't know what I'm trying to think of right now, but yeah. And then after you get the second half, and it makes you a little bit more happy. It's like, oh yeah, okay, all of them are together. Everything's nice. Humanity is fighting a way to push forward and everything, even in this crisis of, pretty much like they said, it's like a new ice age in a way kind of thing. But then they, of course, it gets even better because they, here comes Kotaro. He's back. Sure, they don't remember him, but he this is what I thought was cool, was he pretty much comes out in a tuxedo, and he's pretty much just like Sakuya. Sakuya says that he's pretty much the future of him, obviously, and it's just cool to see that kind of resemblance, that kind of connection between both of them and everything. Instead, because like they could have just had him come out in any other clothes, but he comes out in a butler outfit and everything. So yeah, it's pretty much screaming that it's just like how Sakuya was familiar to Chihaya before. Now he's familiar to all 5 of the girls. So that was pretty cool. And then, of course, yeah, the nice ending with telling them that in the future sometime humanity will have to figure it out. But of course, that's why they're going to have to go to another system, another planet, a new planet to live on, and humanity will, continue to live on happily. And then, of course, he's able to complete his promise at the end as well, with him kissing, not kissing, that's not the thing. They wanted to see each other again, but it was, they got to kiss. And that was just a nice, sweet, happy ending that I loved. Absolutely loved it. It was just like a really nice ending, because honestly I was scared if it was going to be kind of a sad ending, a bittersweet ending. The first half definitely gave that feeling, but luckily in the end, everything, even though it doesn't go exactly the way Kotaro planned, it still ended up being good, where he gets to see Kagadi again. They get to kiss. I guess I'm not too sure what's going to happen after, what the 5 girls are going to say. Are they going to go back to the planet? Are they going to stay on the moon? I'm not really too sure on that point, because I'm pretty sure they have to stay on the planet, right? On Earth, because later on in the future, he's going to have to take them all there. Or is he kind of like a symbol, like later on in the future, they'll be able to make a I don't know, a rocket, and then be able to go to a different planet? Is that like a symbol, or is he really going to, when he has tens of thousands of contractors, bring them to another planet? I'm not too sure, but I mean, it could all just be like what you think. It's kind of the eyes of the viewer, the reader for the visual novels, I guess. But overall, yeah, I really enjoyed this last episode. It was a nice, awesome episode. Sure, I saw some people were saying certain parts were taken out and everything, but like I said, that's just been the theme of this season, pretty much. Certain parts have been taken out, but overall, we still get the main gist of everything, and I still ended up, as an anime watcher only at least, still enjoying this episode, still enjoying this conclusion, and still enjoying the overall season. So yeah, let's talk about how I felt about the season. For Rewrite Season 1, I gave it like a 6.5 or something. Honestly, 6 or 6.5. This one, so much better than the first season, and like you guys said, each episode pretty much, it was pretty much adapted really well. Sure, the last episode wasn't adapted full on, and maybe this episode, they couldn't bring everything in for the ending, but overall, I still think it did a good job, and I give it like a 7.5 for sure, because I definitely enjoyed it, and would definitely, people, I would still recommend people watching this, honestly. Maybe some of you think, nah, I wish they would, do another adaptation of this again, rework this kind of thing. But overall, I still enjoyed this. I still enjoyed 8-Bit's version of, Rewrite. Even though it could have been better, I still enjoyed it. And it did its job. It did its job that I want to go and read the visual novel. And I'm pretty sure a lot of anime watchers only feel the same way as well. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. That's my episode review. That's my overall season review. I want to know, guys, did you enjoy this season? Did you think it was adapted well? Before sorry, what am I talking about? If you guys enjoyed, feel free to comment below. If there's anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. Anime watchers only, how did you feel about this episode? How did you feel about the season? Did you enjoy it like I did? Did you not? You put your opinions down below. Visual novel readers, this is where I want to know how you guys felt. How was this episode adapted? How was the ending adapted? And overall, how do you feel about, now that this is ended, how do you feel the Moon and Terra Root was adapted in comparison to the visual novel? Do you think they did a good job? Do you think they could have done a lot better? Or do you think it was just horrible? Feel free to comment below. It's always interesting to hear your guys' thoughts. Anime watchers only, it's interesting to hear your guys' thoughts because it's comparison to mine. Visual novel readers, it's always super interesting to see what you guys think, considering you guys have seen the source material, and I want to know how well this anime was fully adapted in comparison to how the visual novel should be and everything. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, if you have a like, if you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. Until next time, guys, see ya.